The occasion for us being here is the release of Banking Risk and Compliance Management, the 2023 Outlook Report from the American Bankers Association and 360 Factors. And so we're going to discuss some of the challenges and issues that Cortland and Robert are seeing in the marketplace today, as well as some of the findings from the report. So I'm really glad both of you are here.
Thank you.
So Robert, just if you could kind of help me out here, just kind of help set up what were some of the key top level findings of this report? What's really on bankers' minds? You know, we have over 200 bankers who were surveyed for this report. What are people saying are the challenges that they're dealing with now in the risk and compliance space?
Yeah, I think we're in a unique environment where things are changing so quickly on so many fronts, and how do you really take a step back and approach that in a way that's organized, in a way that aligns with strategy rather than just reacting to chaos? How do you get in front of it and sometimes even use it to your advantage? And you look at the type of data that risk and compliance officers are directly in charge of within a bank, and it's pretty amazing how that data can work for a bank and help to achieve and even drive innovation and revenue within the organization. So a lot of the impetus of this particular report has to do with how are executive levels, whether it's the chief risk officer, chief compliance officer, whether it's chief financial officer, or even CEO, how are they understanding how they can harness that data and make it really shift from a cost center into an innovation driver? And so that's one of the reasons why we're so excited to have Cortland, who is an innovative banker himself, share some of his thoughts and what he's seeing both on some of the areas that we should focus on and what are things that can happen within a bank to really utilize that type of data.
Cortland, I'd love it if you could kind of share one or two key areas that compliance can focus on in contributing to these strategic objectives for a bank.
Well, the first area I believe would be internal controls to identify and strengthen the risk infrastructure, and the second part would be the culture of compliance. Is compliance proactively or reactively involved? And this is why. Compliance should be transparent and supported by the board and not some side project when risks emerge.
Yeah, Robert, I'm curious just, in terms of that culture of compliance, how are, I talk with banks across the country, for the ABA Banking Journal, and I think this industry has one of the, compliance is clearly a strategic advantage for banks. I mean, it's something that we as an industry really focus on, really do, as well as almost any other industry out there in terms of integrated into culture. How does building a culture of compliance kind of take you into that next level of becoming a business advantage for a financial institution?
Yeah, a lot of it is that concept of you get out of it what you put into it. And to Cortland's point, the culture of compliance, if you're only doing it to check the box, to make sure from a regulatory standpoint that you're not stepping in the wrong areas, or that you're only looking at it as a loss mitigation type of activity, then you're never going to get the true value out of it. If it is a check the box, backward looking focus, then you're going to do just barely enough to invest in it just to make sure that you're not struggling, yeah. Right? Where we see innovation in this space is really turning that misperception of compliance purely as a cost center. I'll give two great examples. When you think about the reputation of a bank and you see fines happening all the time, outside of a fine that a regular might give you, you have the potential of losing customers, right? Because you get a bad, very public announcement there. But the reputation of the organization takes a hit, and compliance is truly designed to uphold the integrity of an organization. Mm-hmm. Are we doing what we say we're going to do? Now, if I'm always looking backwards to see where did we mess up, what we're saying we're going to do, or we don't really have the structure in place in order to be able to enforce that, you're just barely doing enough. You're just keeping yourself out of trouble until the next one. This is where you hear a compliance officer say, well, I don't get a lot of sleep at night. And it should be the opposite. It should be the compliance team is coming in and saying, we know what we do well. And not only do we know what we do well, we know how we compare to our colleagues and industry peers. We know where we sit within the market conditions, and we can help the board and those strategic initiatives make the best decisions for us, for the benefit of our stakeholders, our customers, our investors, our employees. We want to keep growing so that we can control our own destiny.